Hey, welcome to HoopSpeak Live. I'm Beckley Mason. Throwback episode. We have both Zach Harper and Ethan Sherwood Strauss hanging with us. Ethan's going to kick it off with us, then move along. How are we doing today? We're in the thick of the doldrums of the NBA season.
Oh, don't be such a Debbie Downer, Beckley. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Kevin Love's best time of the year.
It's Kevin Love's best time of the year. There are hypothetical conversations about games that will never happen. A lot's happening, dude.
Important stuff. Yeah, no, that's just meaning that it's that weird time post-trade deadline before the playoff race gets really hot, although things are happening in both the Western and Eastern conferences surrounding the 8th seed that will inevitably get spanked by the 1 seed. But yeah, it's a little bit of a light week, which is why tanking has taken over.
Tankapalooza.
Has taken over?
Something like that.
Oof.
Well, you cover a tanking team, one of the teams that is highlighted for their tanking efforts, Ethan, and they're
it's not proven.
Believe it or not, they are around an actual basketball issue, which is the weird stuff that happened with Bynum at Golden State. You were there. You asked him the question that got all the headlines. What's going on there?
I mean, it was just so cool to be around a team that has intrigue and drama and winning and title contention. It was just, I have not experienced that much at Oracle Arena. And I feel like we do this thing where with the Lakers, we dismiss everything as more Hollywood drama. Oh, we're so savvy. Not a big deal. They'll get through it. But no, this was actually pretty shocking. I'd never seen anything like this before, where Bynum goes against the coach's wishes and just launches that ugly but open three, albeit open. And, he gets benched. And when I asked him about it, and when multiple people asked him about it, he was just broadly defiant. I'm sure some people have read the quotes, but he essentially was saying, I'll shoot more threes in the future. Yeah, I don't think it was bench worthy. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. And that was rather surprising, as was Pau Gasol going the other way and saying that we needed to have a talk about it and disapproving because him and Bynum have tension. And then Kobe took forever to come out.
Shocker.
For interviews. Yeah, shocker. So there were very few people there. And I was just, oh my God, it was so interesting. I would recommend to anybody to see the clip of him talking and answering questions from a few reporters about it, because I felt like he might have been trying to get Mike Brown fired, and I felt like he might have had some very nuanced points about basketball and what it means to have talent. And I don't know if it's both, and I don't know if it's one or the other. And I'd love to know what you guys think about it, because he was talking.
I was just gonna say, I think my favorite part of the whole thing was Ron Artest saying, "I thought it was a good shot."
Well, I had to track him down in the hallway. I saw Ron Artest getting away without a quote, and he's kind of sneaking off into the night. And there was this moment where it's like, do I sprint after Meta? Do I sprint after him and try to corral a quote? He's not the most stable guy in the world. Him and Jordan Hill were leaving, so he ran down the hall, and I said, "Hey, I've got to ask you about the Bynum 3," and he cut me off even before I could ask. He's like, "I thought it was a good shot. I thought it was going in." Just really with that ebullience that he has. And, it was funny because I didn't notice this on the play, but he said, "I threw my hands up. I thought it was going in." And I rewatched the play later, and he actually did do that. He actually did celebrate, celebrate Bynum's shot as it was in mid-flight. He was celebrating the shot, so he was not lying, and he was not trying to appear funnier. That is what was up. And then Kobe, he basically was saying if you're a star, you need to experiment and try to expand the limits of your game. Essentially, I think, even if the coach doesn't want it, and this coaching staff, they don't really have experience dealing with young players, and that Kobe could relate to doing this. And it made me think about, that's kind of true. We don't really think about basketball players in that way, about trying to expand their craft and trying to maybe do things and be better in ways that the coach doesn't want. And ultimately, Bynum was leveraging his star power and saying, I just want to do this, and you can't bench me because I'm too important. And that's an interesting choice.
Is that all right? I mean, do you support that?
I only support it if he's correct, and I have no idea. I kind of felt like there's something to be said for, is a wide open Bynum 3 the worst thing in the world? Ron Artest, when I asked him, I forgot to add this part, said he was hitting it in practice all the time, and he's an authority on great
Aaron Gray hits it in practice.
I mean, okay, granted, but is maybe one Bynum 3 every 2 games going to cripple everything? If he wants to do that, maybe that's important to him. And maybe he wants to become a stretch 5.
I think the important thing is that he's undermining his coach, and I can't remember if it was Darius Soriano or one of the Kamenetsky brothers, but someone said it's Jim Buss's pet player against their pet project, which was Mike Brown, and they were trying to figure out how this was going to end. Mm-hmm. And I think if your coach wants you to take a 3 or not. Like, you've gone over this. You've said, probably in practice or a shoot-around, hey, coach, watch this, and he probably threatened your life if you ever took one in a game. Bynum knows he's not supposed to take 3s, even if he's open. There's a reason he was open. This isn't the All-Star game where Dwight Howard or Shaq get to throw up 25-footers. What is acceptable within the confines of the game. He's not Kobe. He can't take whatever shot he wants. And I think to say that the message was don't take 3s and follow it up with I'm going to take more 3s, that is not okay within the team concept. Like that's a problem. Whether you agree with Bynum or not, within the frame of the team, that's a problem.
It's not, but look at it from Bynum's perspective. Well, first of all, I hate it when pets fight. I think the Michael Vick situation taught us that that's wrong.
Oh, I only like it when pets fight.
Hi-yo. Anyway, secondly, Bynum might be looking at it like, look, I have a finite amount of time in my NBA career to be who I want to be and to become the player I want. And, if he's not going to let me, I just have to do it with defiance. And it's selfish and it's not within the team concept. It's probably, at that moment, not what's best for the team. But Kobe's perspective is Kobe kind of forcing the issue and doing those hyper-creative shots allowed him to be the player who eventually helped the team later on. I think that's what he was saying, at least. So therefore, it's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a weird thing to do when you're a playoff team and you're still can get better at being, Bynum needs the ball in the paint, and he needs to be standing in the paint so that he can get rebounds when his terrible shooters shoot. We don't want Matt Barnes in the paint trying to get rebounds. But, I mean, it would be great if the Lakers had a stretch 5, I guess, because then you could put Gasol in closer. I just think that it's a weird... is the benefit for the Lakers if Bynum shoots 1 3 a game and feels good about that? Does that actually help the Lakers win more games, short or long term?
Doesn't that get
no? But it could be a toe.
And so if it doesn't,
it could be a toe dip. It could be a toe dip into him being able to do it in the future.
But there are piranhas in the water. Kobe, you don't want to dip your toe when there are piranhas in the water.
Another pet that you don't want, to have.
I mean, if you're undermining the coach, if you're undermining the cohesiveness of the team, then I would say that the long-term or the short-term benefit is wildly outweighed because that's just not going to be something that everyone else is ready to expect. And it's not an adjustment to the offense because Bynum's basically never at the three-point line in the Lakers offense. So for him to go out there and then shoot tends to throw off a lot of other things that everyone else on the court is expecting, I guess including the defense.